to get the PF presidency?
Well, I think we bring a breath of fresh air onto the scene, a breath of fresh air in that we are looking to develop our country in the most sincerest of ways. It is not a talk show. Ngafiri abambi balanda ukutira tukesa chitaifi tukesa fixefi when nothing much is happening. The first thing that we have to do is, how is governance number? What exactly are we doing in terms of governance as a nation? There are a lot of things that people want to see happen. There are a lot of things that people have yearned to see happen. Why is it that mining towns like Mufulira, or indeed the Copperbelt itself, why is it that it's going down? Meanwhile, mining towns were used to do good in terms of football. Why is it that we're going down? In terms of production, mines, people had jobs. Why is it that we're going down? So the breath of fresh air that we are bringing onto the scene is that we are bringing in a holistic approach towards development, starting with governance systems. Our governance systems need to be realigned to meet the aspirations of the people. choosing who to employ or who not to employ. What is the role of the youth in the development agenda of this country? Or we have a plan for them. All those are things that are supposed to be discussion points that all of us should be talking about. What is the development agenda for each and every area that we are in? For example, in Mufulira itself, what is the development agenda that we have for Mufulira? What is it that we did before we came into government? What is it that we are doing now? Those are the discussions that we have to be having now, and we have to be having honest discussions for that matter. If nefingi twalalandapo, but I'll have you lead the discussion so that we're responding to what exactly people want.
Yes, as we are building up this conversation, President Zulu, we just want to get your views regarding what is happening within the PF. You have internal wrangles. With these internal wrangles, Honorable Zulu, do you feel the PF will emerge victorious and sort out these problems? And the other issue which the listener out there wants to know is that if the PF continue having these challenges, these problems, which platform, which vehicle are you going to use in 2026 to stand as Republican president?
To start with, the Patriotic Front Party is a very interesting organization. Interesting in the sense that we are a people who, no matter how much we differ within the party, we are still united. We have seen attempts to take away the party from the owners or from the people that belong to it. These attempts have seen the matter going to court. But you may have noticed that every time there's an attempt to take over the party, those who attempt to take over the party only go away with a paper. The people still remain Muchpani. And the reason the people still remain Muchpani is because the Patriotic Front is an ideology. It is people that are galvanized around an ideology. The pro-poor ideology that we have as PF is what has galvanized all of us. such that those that have gone away with a paper, in the way that Chavinga claims to be president of PF, there's no one who follows Chavinga. Chavinga can't have a meeting anywhere. But then the Patriotic Front Party, as you know it, continues to meet. We continue to talk to people, and you know where the real PF is. It's for that reason that you are recognizing me as an aspiring presidential candidate in PF. You have recognized Lubinda as an aspiring presidential candidate in PF, and all the other candidates, including Honorable Mao Sampa, as an aspiring candidate, because we know that is where the genesis of this was, and he got to realize that no, the rightful place where the party has to be, we have to go back under the leadership or the true leadership of the party, as was previously recognized before Imingala Tovate Deva UPND Shaishire Chinjama paper ku registrar of societies. So do not be mistaken. You may see or you may think that there's really a big fight in PF, but we always emerge victorious. There was a fight in 2015 that almost saw the party coming to its being divided. That fight was possibly worse than the one that you are possibly observing from the outside. But we will unite around the cause and run with it. We will fight for PF. We will fight for the restoration of PF and participate in the next election as PF. But should we fail to get PF back, we are not short of ideas. We are not short of plans as to how we are going to take over government. Because what we have to do is deal with the country, deal with the problems that the country is facing. And we are committed to that cause because we know that most of our people are people who are poor, our people who are struggling to get employment, our people who are struggling to feed on a daily basis, need solutions to the problems that they are having. People are hungry. It's for that reason that almost at any given point, people are saying, give us a candidate for PF, give us a candidate. We know what we don't want, but give us a candidate. That fight or that call for a candidate in PF is because people miss the times when the prioritization was prioritization of people that are in need. They miss those times. They miss the times when a government promised and delivered on its promises. Not if it no ubunga bukesa pali 50 kwacha ulipali shinga inonshita. Awe dola ikesa pali 12 kwacha ilipali shinga inonshita. Awe fertilizer mkalashita pali 250 ilipali shinga inonshita. I was listening to VIP yesterday when she was saying that no, fertilizer in the remotest of areas is costing 1,050 kwacha. Ewalandirepo mailo. Number 1,050 kwacha. 250 kwacha. Ewalandirepo. Ewachile promise wa HH. Teo. That is a broken promise. Promises that gave hope to people, but all of us are in a hopeless state right now. Because we cannot, our lives can't be sustained because of the cost of living. So, because Fintuna Fidula is the opposite of what they said, people are saying, take us back to where we used to be. And that place is where PF comes in as an answer. PF had started a project to build the Mufulira District Hospital. This project was going to have a mother shelter, it was going to have a theater, it was going to have an outpatient department, it was going to have different facilities that were going to be answering to the needs of the people in Mufulira. Number what's happening? The moment by UPND Regime power, they stopped that project. They didn't carry on with that project. What did they do? They decided they're going to be doing other things. In the mines, they've pushed their own people there. Misepera, who have been finding a living from the mining sector, have been chased from areas where they used to make a living. Hospitals, like I said, Mufulira District Hospital has not been completed. People are being referred to Ndola and Kitwe now, which is a problem. People should not be going to Ndola and Kitwe. By now, they should have been attended to right there in Mufulira at Mufulira District Hospital. And there's been no reason that has been given as to why they abandoned that project. Takwaba, ukuisa mu government, fidefto waleshita abanobe efusuma wafirekeresha. You don't do that. You finish because the agenda is for Zambia. It is not for a party. And PF understands that mission very well, that the agenda is for Zambia, the agenda is for development of Zambia. We were building a school there, which is only 11 kilometers from the central business district. That school was going to have 22 classrooms. It was going to have a clinic. It was going to have a lab. It was going to have an assembly hall, administration block, a library, and 24 houses for teachers. What did the UPND do? They stopped that project. Now, what was the essence of stopping this project? What wrong have the people of Mufulira done to deserve this kind of treatment where a district hospital is stopped? The building of a school is stopped, which was going to benefit the people. It's not like people were going to be going to the hospital were going to be PF only. It was going to save the whole community. It's not like the people were going to be going to Mulundu Secondary School were going to be PF only. It was going to be everyone, including the UPND themselves. It is a way that we as PF to learn that we're going to create employment. How do you create employment? You develop infrastructure where you're going to employ those people that you intend to put in. That is the project that we embarked on. This project was stopped. We were going to have pupils going to that school. It was going to cater for the Copperbelt. But what has happened? It has been stopped. Kukam Changoko, we're going to have a modern market. A modern market. We're going to have banks at that market. We're going to have intermine bus station at that modern market. What has happened? It has still been stopped. Are these the things that we want to continue with? Is this what we want to do for our people? Of course, on our part, we are saying the people of Mufulira and the people of the Copperbelt deserve better. They deserve attention. All these things that have been stopped deserve attention. So at the end of it all, as PF, we surround ourselves around this idea that we need to take development to the people. And these ideas, we as PF will overlook the differences that we have amongst ourselves. We will pick a leader and run with this vision, this proper vision that responds to the aspirations of our people on the ground. This vision...
We're going to discuss key thematic areas such as mining, youth, and agriculture.
Yes.
But let us don't say that in a few days, the PF is getting to the convention, and independent observers are saying you might emerge as leader of the PF. We'll cross the bridge when we get there.
Certainly.
Now, the other question, President Zulu, what is going to happen if you're going to hit a snag at the convention? Are you going to hold back? Are you going to support the candidate who is going to emerge victorious?
In PF, we believe that democracy is a marketplace of ideas. What is at play in PF is that we are competing on ideas as to what ideas are best going to respond to the pro-poor policy that we have as government. Nama candidates, opportunity. Now, as candidates, we have decided to say we are going to rally behind the person that is going to emerge victorious out of this. Because in any event, we are not even competing, as it were. We're just offering ourselves as leaders for the party to eventually lead this country to get to a place where all that we have in our manifesto, the ones that, the manifesto that we have containing the promises that we've made to the Zambians is achieved. So we are all around an ideology and not individuals. And that is the reason we're going for a convention, so that we can pick a leader. Otherwise, we wouldn't be having a convention if the intention was to split afterwards. So the idea of a convention is to pick the leader, renew the mandate of the leaders, and run with a vision that will develop Zambia.
If you don't win, you drop back your presidential ambition?
For the party and the country, will continue aspiring. Not winning does not mean that you fall back. It means that you've learned one way of how not to do things, and you have to continue fighting on. So we'll continue fighting on to offer leadership to the country and put in our best abilities forward to say, this is the reason we feel as a party that we can have. PF is not short of leaders, and we are a democracy. We don't believe in one way. One after another, we will be able to offer leadership to this country and to the party. There can only be one at a time.
One at a time. Let's now dwell into your agenda for Zambia if you are given that opportunity to be on the ballot next year. Let's start with the mining sector, Honorable Zulu. Everything has to do and is centered on mining. Zambia's GDP is dependent on the mining sector. How do you describe the mining sector, the performance of the mining sector this far, and what is your agenda if given a chance to get into State House regarding mining?
So far, the mining sector is on its knees. With the prices of copper, the prices of gold going up, what is it that we are benefiting? Let's look way back into history. The time Zambia got its independence and the mines were being run, when ZCCM was at its top, we saw that the development on the Copperbelt was top-notch. The roads on the Copperbelt were good. The provision of services was good. The support to our sports fraternity was good. What has happened now? Everything has been going down the drain. Worse now than ever before, because we have put individuals that have an interest in that mine for personal benefit to take over the reins of power. What we have to do is have patriots take over the reins of power. Patriots will put the needs of Zambians first. And we are saying that how can Zambia benefit from the mines? We need investors. We have no quarrel with that. But this investment that we are bringing in, for whose benefit is it coming in? We have seen that over the years, the so-called investors that have been brought in have always been posting negatives in terms of profit. Takwaba wemuntu uleshitisha tumbua every day ulepanga losi, but you still continue ukushitisha tumbua. It means there's something wrong you are doing, or you are duping the Zambian people. Takwaba, where we favor the mines and say we're going to give you these tax incentives, and yet there's no beneficiation on the communities. Abe kalamma mine, vash mine, finish balesanga mumma mine. Mwewe kala kumfulira, mwewe kala kundola, kukitwe, kuchiri abombwe na kuchingola. Finish mlesanga mumma mines. We have to measure development by what people are benefiting from the mines. Tuamfileko umlandu where the Zambian government won uku London, where $1 billion was supposed to be given to the Zambian government. What deals have they struck that up to now this $1 billion has not been paid to the Zambian government? What deals has this government struck that KCM has been given back to Vedanta? What deals have been struck? When we said we want beneficiation for the Zambians, Apo uko ama dam sites ayaliko, which were benefiting the Zambians. As PF, we said, let's create cooperatives that are going to be benefiting from these dam sites. What have we done? We have pushed away the cooperatives where people were benefiting, the communities, the local communities were benefiting. Twapela ma Chinese, twapela bantu bambi. So our people have nothing to do. And because they have nothing to do, the levels of crime have only gone up. We had said, what is going to be the level of participation in mining for our people? If they can't participate, say in dump sites using AMA cooperatives like we had done before, you may be aware of One Pride, one of the cooperatives that was being used, and that resulted into beneficiation of the communities. What has happened to that? Instead, we have seen people come all the way from Lusaka to go and mine on the Copperbelt, moving out those that were local. We have seen people, in terms of procurement, it's favoring people that belong to the UPND, who know nothing about the mines. Copperbelt, we know that, okay, the one who supplies this product to the mines is this one. The one who supplies this other product is that other one. Mwasanga bonse, tabamipere. When you check, you find that all chita supply one government. Is that what we intended to do? Is that what the plan was? That we change government so that the beneficiaries are government officials or party officials? That's not why we changed government. People changed government because they thought a better solution was going to be given to the problems that they were having than the one that was being provided for. But so far, abantu balanda tuweshe ku PF ofya bareshta fyali ko ifyamano. But over and above what we planned to do as PF, there is more that can be done. Why don't we restrict procurement to locals in this case? Why don't we allow participation of the locals in procurement fully so that there's benefit to the people that are living in those areas? Idea shaku sensedi. Idea shaku like what happened in Chingola recently. We know that the people were complaining about Sensedi more than they were complaining about the market. Yes, if you are market, Phoebe, our markets should not be burnt. When they are burnt, government should be able to respond. But even in those markets, the business had gone down. Business went down because abantu abarechita benefit ku Sensedi uko. We're no longer benefiting from Sensedi because other interests had been put ahead of them. Local people have been put aside. So if local people do not benefit from the mines, Vashmain Tawarisha benefit from the mines, there is no one who's going to go to the market and buy anything. People need to have money in their pockets before they can buy. It's for that reason that Vasatabarantile more money in your pockets. That money was supposed to be gotten from opportunities that are made available to the people there. So in the areas of mining, if into what God if ma kusensedu uko. Government should be the one to buy. That's what we had said. We said government should be the one to buy so that when government buys, tuasunga mu Bank of Zambia. If we back our currency with gold, kwacha yesu kutia gain strength. Nga kwacha gain strength, it means that the buying power of the money that you have is going to be stronger, and that brings down the cost of living. Because indarama shesun shakwata amaka. Apa indarama shestasha kwata amaka iyo. Echo tasha kwatira amaka. It's because there's nothing to back our currency. All we are saying is that awe inengana isapo na kwatesh na isuma indarama kwacha ikafuma pali 17 kwacha opoyari ikesa pali 12 kwacha na pali 3 kwacha. If you are to lie. But is that what is happening? That's not what is happening. And we, as PF, we had started this program to say, let gold be bought by the Bank of Zambia. We have gold reserves to strengthen our kwacha. That was going to enable us to pay our debt. We're not going to be crying about debt. We had a plan to settle this debt, and we had started implementing this plan. But what have we seen? Instead of government being the one to set up a plant, a gold processing plant, it's private persons that are setting up. Those in government, Evaleshta set up a gold processing plant. Uko Kumumbwa, they set up a gold processing plant costing about $22 million. $22 million. But Bank of Zambia cannot quota $22 million to process gold. And we can be able to process the gold, keep the gold in our reserves, buy from our people whom we give opportunities to Twalikwete program in mining where we used to give equipment to people that were exploring gold. We would give them equipment as government, let them find the gold, and we buy from them. What has happened? All this is being done by government officials. They're the ones that could buy every week gold instead of benefiting the Zambians. It's government officials or party officials who are benefiting from this.
I want you to shed more light, Honorable Zulu. You talk about benefits. The local people should benefit. Just touch more on that. Are you saying that if given an opportunity to be the Republican president, you are going to introduce measures to restructure the mining taxation regime? And I also want you to touch on casualization in the mining sector.
Okay. So the most efficient way that we can create employment is to look at the local resource that we have. Ukokumigoti, the local resource that we have is copper and other minerals that are there. Now, if that is going to be what we have, why should we have casual workers in a resource that is the first in the country, in a resource that is supposed to change the fortunes of our country? Why should we have our people be subjected to being casuals when the resource that we are saying we want is the one that is the most important for the country? Why is it that we want others to benefit more from our resources and we remain with crumbs? That is not the case. These incentives that we are giving to mining companies, are they balanced to ensure that Zambia benefits and they also get their measure of profit? Takwa abafya kutirati ama equipment balereta no, we won't charge you VAT, we won't charge you import tax on these issues. We give them that incentive. And then after they mine the gold, or indeed our copper, we tell them, don't pay taxes. We remove the mineral royalty tax. We remove the windfall taxes. These are taxes that are supposed to build our hospitals. These are taxes that are supposed to enable us take care of things like load shedding. Load shedding, it's also affecting the local people in our communities because the investment that we're supposed to put in that sector is coming from the very mines that we are giving away. Giving away, I'm saying giving away because we are selfish in that the ones that are giving this for being corrupted are willing to get very little for the benefit of the miners to the detriment of minerals. These minerals are very important for us, and they are the answer to most of the problems that we are having. Like we have said, we're going to balance the issue of debt using gold as a backup. We're going to make sure that our local communities benefit by making sure that priority is given to the Zambians to supply to the mines and get paid. We're going to ensure that this transfer of skills, takwaba opotwambilama mines, to learn that we still need expatriates until this time. Why do we need expatriates until this time? Benatawa kwa takopa kumia wokoba afumina kudia. Babasha nama expatriates. Fofua kwa takopa, we can't produce expatriates. As a matter of fact, in terms of copper production, we should have been the ones exporting human resource to other countries that have copper for them to benefit from Zambians, because Zambians will have experience. They have experience because na bakwata copper. Since na bakwata copper, babomba mumigoti. Eba ishwa fionsafio muntu engeshi bapali copper to be able to go out and work elsewhere. Instead, the experts that are coming from countries that do not have copper. So, that's another opportunity that we've not explored to the best level ever. Our students in schools, in universities, when it comes to industrial attachments, are supposed to be getting that from our mines here. But we have our students going to places like Congo to get attachment to our mines, and not in our very own, because our mines here are in places where mwenye ewashita mine, you find that the majority of the workers ba mwenye. Nga basungu, the majority basungu. what has happened to our local resource? What has happened to our people that are living in those areas? What is the School of Mines for at the University of Zambia when there is no employment for those that are going there? Kwali baba ku school for metallurgy, and yet they can't find any places kuma mines. Tafile panga sensitive. So we have to put in that aspect of local content in the mining area. What is the percentage of local content? What is the share that we're going to have as Zambia in this? It is not wrong to renegotiate a mining agreement. Botswana has done it, and they are benefiting from that. Abe some kuchita investive, but the country needs to benefit as well.
Just there on mining agreement, Honorable Zulu.
Yes.
That's a very stance. You say it is not wrong to renegotiate mining agreements.
Yes.
It brings me to my question. What is your position on the two local mines, KCM and Mopani? Previously, we voted other opposition leaders, and their stance has been, if they formed government, they are going to take over these two mines. As Makebi Zulu, what is your position on KCM and Mopani?
See, when it came to KCM, the idea of placing KCM under liquidation by the PF was for purposes of finding a suitable investor who understood that local beneficiation was primary in our understanding. And you may agree with me, those that dealt with the mine, that the time the mine was under liquidation, people started getting paid. Those that had not been paid for a very long time started getting their money. Of course, there are things that were working in the pipeline that did not come because we got out of power. But by this time, we were going to ensure that KCM was as viable as it can possibly be. Ababa Liponomba, we agree with PF that Vedanta, if MEPO, that's what they had said. Then the moment they came in, there was one press briefing where Bakateka Barandirati, awe abantu walebe pobufi ati yo Vedanta ideisa takese Vedanta tatulande filifonsena Vedanta. Then the next thing vaingira parliament ati yo, I'm proud to announce that Vedanta is back. Okay, now since Vedanta is back, who knows what agreement was struck? Do we as the people know what agreement has been struck? And who are the beneficiaries of that agreement? Can anyone say that number it's better than it was before? Can anyone say that? I have not heard of anyone saying that it's any better. Mopani was ours. Mopani was given back to government, and government was to find a suitable partner to run Mopani with. What has happened? Kwaisama company, not a Ishwama company. We're a company without any assets, a company which was recently incorporated, comes and takes over the mine, and they're saying, Barefo Congole Ndarama, Kuma Bank, I had Munomu in Zambia. We thought investors were going to be coming into Zambia with money. We thought investors were going to come in with money, proper money for us to see that this money is coming for investment in our country. Now, but I'm trying to negotiate with our local banks. So that Tushte develop mine. Is that the investment that we want? Why is it that these people who come to invest, when they bring in money, they only bring in money for salaries? The profits that they make on those minerals that they sell, they don't come in. Takwaba investment ya kutilati. If it's some country, shama salaries, now shama salaries for casuals. We can't run an economy like that. We can't be selfish in the manner that our wealth is being distributed. Every day we hear of discoveries of places with minerals, new explorations coming on. But what has been the benefit on our economy? We have not had that. And mainly, this is because the people that we thought were better negotiators have only negotiated for personal benefit. That should not be the case. They've only negotiated for themselves to have a stake in these areas, and nothing that has been going down to the people. It's for that reason that Kulin Salam Copperbelt, people are hungry because there's nothing for them to do. Projects that were started have been stopped. They could have been funded from the very mining investment that we have. The power situation, we could have been, it can and should be funded from the mining profits that we are making, the dividends that are being declared from time to time. Proper declaration, not if you have a but we need a system that is going to be robust, a system that holds everyone accountable, both government and investors accountable to the Zambian people, so that beneficiation is to the Zambian people. That is needed. So if you machipsha, to learn that if you feel unsafe, it circles around the policy that you put in place, renegotiating bad contracts that you negotiated. KCM and Mopani, what are they contributing to our economy? Are we able to measure to say if we contribute to our economy? As far as we are concerned right now, the mines are not benefiting anyone, except those that have brought in these investors and the very investors themselves. We need a proper plan, a proper transparent plan. If it means Zambians are going to buy shares in the running of these mines, let's give it to the Zambians to hold shares in those mines so that we can see a direct benefit to the Zambians. Let government account properly for how they negotiate the contracts so that we know that what we're going to get from these mines is going to be so much this year. What we anticipate to fund our budget coming from our resources is going to be so much. We can't forever be begging when those are getting, the ones we're begging from, are getting the resource from our that we are seeing on the Copperbelt. No one is happy with what is going on. Those that have been given artisanal licenses, for them to be able to benefit. Pantu insalataish watu wa UPND, uyu, wa PF, uyu, ni FTD taish we insala. Insala isa kumuntu uli onse. So we have to ensure that when we're looking at giving opportunities, we look to give opportunities to all Zambians. The artisanal mining issues, I remember there was a promise that was made to them. Most of them were caught, and they had a meeting at some house somewhere where they were told, we shall support you, we shall give you all the support that we need. Can one come and say, this is the support I was ever given by this government? There isn't anyone who can come up and say that. Instead, those that were helping the communities, those that were in business are being victimized now, such that they're absolutely broke by now. And all the efforts that have been making towards revamping their businesses, or indeed going back into the business, are being blocked by those that are closer to power. That should not be the same. Let's look at Zambians as eco-citizens who deserve equal opportunities.
Let's get to the health, or before we get to the health sector, let's discuss agriculture. How are you going to revive the agro sector? Let's discuss issues to deal with inputs. How cheaper will inputs be under your leadership, under your government? What plan do you have for the farmers?
Okay. To start with, governing is not a business enterprise. It is not about government making a profit. It is about government looking at the welfare of the people. We must understand that. Because previously people were voting on the basis that, oh, you're today become a businessman. Running a business. Running a business and running a government are two different things. When you're running a government, you're looking at the welfare of the people. And in looking at the welfare of the people, you look at how best can we make the Zambian people productive. It's for that reason that the Farmer Input Support Program was created to the need to make Zambians much more productive. Give Zambians access to the land, and with that access to the land, give them the inputs. When they have the inputs, they should be able to grow sufficient for themselves and sufficient to sell. This program targeted 1 million farmers the last time that we were in government. And these farmers were being given 6 to 8 bags of fertilizers, and they were being given seed to grow, maize seed, and legumes to grow. We even went further and said we are going to have the e-voucher system, where farmers were going to buy the seed that they wish to grow, away from the traditional crop that we grow, to enable them make money using this means, meaning that we were funding production, we were subsidizing production. If we subsidize production, a farmer will find it cheaper to grow maize. If they find it cheaper to grow maize, we will be able to buy it cheaply. If we buy it cheaply, our mielie meal is going to be cheap. Now, what has happened? This farmer input support program has been done badly. It has been killed. It has been molested in ways that have made our farmers less productive. Less productive because number fertilizer twakana mameda. Seed is being shared markup. Is that what we signed up for? Is that the change that the Zambians wanted? There is no season where farmers have not complained about the shortage of fertilizers. In the time of PF, before there was change of government, it was government that was complaining to say people are selling fertilizer. That was the problem. It was a problem, and we had to put up roadblocks to ensure that the fertilizer that was being sold was recovered and given to those that were serious about the issue of farming. This time around, there is no one who is even smuggling 1 bag of fertilizer, because 1 bag of fertilizer is not even enough that is given to them. They are made to share in cooperatives. Now, if we kill the cooperative movement in the agricultural sector, you'll have killed the economy altogether. You'll have killed our food security altogether. The cooperative movement, under which we were supplying this fertilizer and seed, was thriving. Now it has been killed. Certain cooperatives that were said to, or were suspected, or where members belonged to PF, are no longer being given anything. And instead of taking advantage of rain belts, or indeed areas where it rains the most, like Northern Province, what did this government do? They reduced the number of beneficiaries in Northern Province, took away what was there, knowing very well that this is where it rains the most. They reduced the number of beneficiaries and took to Southern Province. Took to Southern Province, where we have been told by scientists that ukuimfula tairelo kasana, even if we have so much fertilizers, or even if we have so much inputs, we cannot yield as much. I'm not suggesting that that they should be denied anything, or any person from any region should be denied anything. But what we are saying, or what we are suggesting, is that can we take advantage of the comparative advantage that people have in particular areas? The experience that they have in those particular areas, can we take advantage of those? Why are we, what informed the idea of reducing the number of beneficiaries? Why not just increase the number of beneficiaries in Southern Province, if at all we feel they have more potential to grow much more crop, and not reduce from Northern Province, instead increase even much more in Northern Province to take advantage of the rains that come in Northern Province by influence of the Congo flow. That is what we should be doing. And in that manner, we are going to be food secure. Congo will always buy food from Zambia. They will always buy food from Zambia. So let's increase production and sell to Congo. Malawi will always buy food from Zambia. Let us increase production in the east and make sure that we sell to Malawi. But what have we done? We have reduced the input program. We have gotten the little maize that we have in our reserves and sold. After selling, we have had to go begging to import maize and import it much more expensively, hence making the price of milling meal very high. Ama Americans abat pelekwa indalama isha. They complain to say, imwetwali mipele indalama kutumushite amataba. Mwayashita amataba ku Tanzania, and instead of buying amataba at a normal price, you've even exaggerated the price and you are even buying amataba at a much more expensive price from Tanzania. Let's not forget that our Tanzania vareshta amataba from Zambia. The time the government got excited and said, not kwatefingi tukarashtisha. In fact, we encourage everyone to be selling. That's what they were telling us in Parliament, that they were going to be selling. After selling, they started saying, awe na fibulira, nomba, ubunga wala dula, pardon us, our ego meeting, wakala mishtisha amataba. And this ego meeting, ZNS, was importing the maize from South Africa, importing from other countries. Maize which ordinarily we should not have imported. And because we're importing our staple food, it was forced to be, we are forced to sell it expensively, and most Zambians can't afford it. That is what we've done to the agriculture sector. We have killed it. And we are saying, let us improve on the farmer input support program. Let us diversify in our farming system. Let us go even as far as irrigation to provide equipment for Zambians to use irrigation methods. It is not wrong for us to say, Mma comes to kweta agriculture. Let's mechanize farming. Let's buy them tractors in these areas, which cooperatives are going to use out of this farmer input support program. The farmer input support program is supposed to extend to mechanizing of the farming agricultural sector. We mechanize it, it means that the production will be higher. If in a camp, tuabika ama tractor yavidi, it means that ama farmers, they will be using that tractor to irrigate a larger piece of land in the shortest possible time and give them extra time to do other things, to embark on other economic things. That is what we ought to do. In areas and their farms are possibly closer to where the water is, or indeed even further, why don't we include an irrigation component in the farmer input support program, so that as they get water from those rivers that we have, those dams that we have, those lakes that we have, we are going to realize so much from them. We are told that 45% of the water in the southern region is in Zambia. What are we doing with this 45% of the water? Is it working for us? Is it responding to our needs in the agriculture sector? We have failed to get dividends from our comparative advantage, which we have from other, as compared to other countries. We have failed. And these are areas that we have to look into. These are areas out for the Tuarole Shapo, which improve agriculture sector. Yes. Let's mechanize, let's improve on irrigation, let's provide the seed and the inputs that farmers need. Let's subsidize production instead of subsidizing consumption, the way this government has been doing.
Look at your agenda insofar as governance is concerned. This Friday, the church, the Oasis Forum, they have organized a protest to State House because they are opposed to Bill 7. Are you joining in that protest, Honorable Zulu?
Namishwa filabara ndilwa Father Bwada to say chumbu mushololwa. This government can be easily equated to Bachumbu Mushololwa, especially over Bill 7. They do not want to listen to what the people want. The idea of Bill 7 is intended to consolidate power. Now kwata amaka, but urefa ukwatirepo na amaka na yambi. What do you need that power for? You know the time you are coming into power that you will only serve 2 terms. But you want to come in and change to say this system doesn't work. What hasn't worked? Because it's the same system that got you there. Already court ya jisala and uktirat Bill 7 tairi wino panta mwaire kubantu mukubepusha abantu to finish balefwaya. You should have started with the people. Number What have they done? They set up an illegal technical committee which is going round with the same content ewabakena abantu from the beginning. Takwa Bill 7 yaisa abantu bakana, you go back. Then you bring it back. People refuse again, you say, okay, we are now going to consult the people. Even the manner of consulting the people, instead finish of your mlefu to change muli constitution yes. If you if we try change if land nipo. Let the people, the owners of the document, be able to tell you. The reason the church is protesting, NGOs are protesting, is because abantu we've been shut up by this at cyber security or cyber crimes bill. Abantu can't express themselves anymore. Organizations have to take up that position now. How are you going to govern people whom you've taught to keep quiet? When they say things at Tulea Kukoti, ni seditious practice. Abena muniabo valimjele because they disagreed with the government, or the government did not agree with what they said. Mwawatwala kuchifungo. Is that the country we want to live in? Umlandu wa sedition. Waliko muliba samundomo. Dintu tatulapoka independence. Apa dintu apokele independence. No government has used that except this one. I'm a judge baba tamfya kukot because those judges do not seem to agree with their position. They are following the law. Is that the kind of government that we want? We want a government that rules by the principles and the laws that the people have agreed to say we want to be governed by these laws. Not abesa with different rules that are only intended to save individuals. If Bill 7, they should drop it. They have to drop it. Because it's not responding to the aspirations of the people. People are saying to the what is government doing about that? Nothing. What is it that you want to achieve? We have to interrogate those issues. The agent, they actually answer. People are hungry. People want to eat. People want to have freedom to speak. Give them that freedom. Funyaniko ififia sedition ifumwaleta. Fisaiba ifumwaleta. Abantu balefu anokulanda pafoni. No, I feel bad almost on a daily basis. Umuntu atuma phone alanda tawe apan pafoni tetu tulande. Awe kulisaiba tetu tulande pafoni. Isen ku WhatsApp tulandile pa WhatsApp. Why have people been filled with so much fear for their government? Why should we be afraid of our government? We are supposed to be talking to them. We are supposed to be telling them what our problems are. But when atawe kalen fiezi tamwalande fiamano ifyo au tafikwe tamano ifyo yo. So let's make sure issues of governance, the laws that we apply should be applied equally. The laws that we want to put in place should be to save the people of Zambia. Amakaba tupera abena Zambia is for service, not to punish. But amakatule abonfia to punish people. That is where we are right now. And that is where we should be getting away from. By changing government to a government that is going to be tolerant to divergent views. A government that is going to allow people to assemble. A government that is going to allow people to express themselves. A government that will change the laws to better the lives of the people, not to prolong their stay in government. If you're not if you're
As we dwell on Bill 7, what is your appeal to the lawmakers? And you touch on, interesting point, Honorable Zulu, changing government. On the other side, the governing party is saying the opposition is scattered. They've got no chance of forming government. Your take on that, Zulu?
See, that's where the problem is. I thought the government would be saying, if we tatuaf mepo, because we have made life better for Zambians, we are providing electricity to every home in Zambia, we are social cash transfer or the social welfare of the people is better, the health sector is better. Now this government is relying on the confusion of the opposition, saying, awe, if mepo, pantu mu PF valedwe kishanya. More opposition, they are not united, so if mepo. That is showing you a government that has lost direction. They have lost a heart for the people. They have to rely on confusion in the opposition to prolong their stay in power. Are we going to allow them to do that? Certainly not. We're not going to allow them to do that. So what are we doing? We're going to provide solutions.
Apologies, Honorable Zulu.
Yes.
It's almost an hour, and of course our timeline of our hour almost is going to elapse. Well, let's call you back on the other side. Stay
All
tuned
right.
to Mafken.
All right, and thank you.
All right. Well, we continue in Political 360, and of course, Honorable Makebi Zulu, who's on governance. There is no opposition in the country, Honorable Zulu, like we have listening and reading. Have UPND is getting back into power after August 2026. Your take on that?
Yes, as I was explaining, that the reason for getting back into power, for any reasonable government, or any reasonable person, or any reasonable party, should never be that opposition takodi. My Bemba friends are laughing at my Bemba, but so what we were hoping to hear is that ama hospital twalikula, ama school twalikula, and that's the reason we will not leave power. We have improved the lives of people. To rely on a misfortune to stay in power is as good as witchcraft. Takwa aba abantu ulolera fiat festi uli akafwe era nkakwata echi chintu opo wambila n'obulosha apo pene apo. We have to look at governance and look at governance strictly as a means to provide for the people that we have given ourselves to govern. It's not a right, it's a privilege. So this privilege that the Zambian people have given us to govern, let us use it for the benefit of the Zambian people. Let us not sow seeds of discord, more opposition. Let's make sure they are fighting so that we continue in power. Tefye tushtai yo. We have to respect democracy. We can't kill democracy for purposes of staying in power. Let us be watchful as Zambians. Next year we are going to vote. Let us make sure we go and vote and change government. It's not that the opposition is not united. The government is trying to divide the opposition, but it's up to all of us to unite, put up a united front, both as political parties and as Zambians, and through a legitimate way that is provided for, through the ballot, we will remove these that are there for purposes of replacing them. We are not just going to vote for purposes of replacing them. We have to replace them with people that are committed to bringing development to our country, to patriots who are going to look to develop this country, people that love Ichalo and want to see the best for it, people that look at the resources of the country as an opportunity to improve the lives of the Zambian people, not avene ukusapo benefit pali fifinto. Therefore, twasalira okwishira mu politics. Politics is for service. Politics is for human decency and human dignity. Not fwebene tule nonkafyo fweba mchipanichi nanguicho, but we have to ensure that the needs of the people or the rights of the people are respected and the people benefit from our governance.
On 2026, Honorable Zulu, do you see a rerun or it will be a one-off victory for the opposition?
We have an opportunity right now as opposition, and we'll keep saying this. We only have one Zambia, and there can only be one president at a time. Let us come together, put aside our selfish ambitions, and look at what is in the best interest of Zambia. What is in the best interest of the people in the Copperbelt, of the people in Northwestern Province, Eastern Province, Southern Province, all the provinces of Zambia. What is in the best interest of these people? Should we continue subjecting them to a rule by terror or oppression or persecution? Should this continue for another 5 years? Every normal person, every person living in Zambia and is experiencing the governance of this party in government will agree that we are at our worst in terms of democracy. We are at our worst in terms of development. We are at our worst in terms of issues to do with health. We are at our worst. The projects that were started previously have been stopped. The project that we were even to start, where we're going to have a plant that was going to be producing generic medicines, such as Vapanado, Ama ARVs, Fiance, the European Union had come on board to say, we are going to help you. We're going to give you a grant to build this factory where we're going to be producing these medicines. That is the agreement that we had gotten into. When UPND came, what did they do? They stopped. They said, we want to continue buying. And we now know what had been going on, how that money that was intended for medicines was misappropriated, how that medicines were expiring, how that there was a purchase. If you're a container from Egypt, we have been witnesses to that. We can't go back to that. We need a government that is responsible, a government that responds to the needs of the people. In terms of health, we need a government that will respond to the needs of the people. Agriculture, mining, in all sectors of the economy, we need a government that is going to be responding to the people. Not a government that will kill the will of the people, terrorize people, shut them up, come up with laws that do not enable them to speak, and then thereafter say that tukabwerera takuli opposition. Takuli opposition because you think you have shut people up. People are going to express themselves in the ballot and they will vote, and they know that they're going to vote for people that are going to give them answers. And we're available to provide those answers.
Question is on the Public Order Act, Honorable Zulu, but before we get to the Public Order Act, let me push you again. Is it a rerun or a one-off victory for the opposition? Remember, 2.8 million voted for UPND 2021.
So my call for the opposition to come together and unite is so that we do not gamble. We do not need to gamble. If we all come together and face this monster that we have, we know that it is going to be a one-off. There will be no need for a runoff. There will be no need for a runoff because we'll have galvanized ideas. We'll have galvanized the answers or the potential that we all possess to offer to this country and give them to this country, unlike subjecting them to the rule by men, the rule that is away from the law. We can't afford that. Let us galvanize ourselves and let us unite under one cause, and that cause is the development of Zambia to better the lives of Zambians and change the fortunes of this country. We can't afford to go into this election divided. If we go into this election divided, that does not even mean that the UPND will win. It just means that we are going to waste more money going for a runoff, which we are still going to win anyways, but we can avoid that by going at it one time only, so that we can concentrate on governance issues. If we go for a runoff, we are still going to win, because that will be yet another opportunity to unite. A runoff is simply an opportunity to unite, to come together and form government as one, that is by different political parties. But why do it then when we can do it now? Why do we want to unite after we have a runoff when we can unite now? So my call right now is for unity in the opposition. Let's come together to save the people of Zambia.
Your take on the Public Order Act. This piece of legislation remains contentious. We have seen political parties in opposition, and whilst in opposition, vehemently they condemn the Public Order Act. Let's get it from you, Honorable Zulu. What is your honest submission on the Public Order Act? If Zambians give you the mandate, are you going to review? Are you going to scrap off the Public Order Act, which has been discussed since the 1950s? Up to now, is still contentious.
If you look at the Public Order Act, and if the Public Order Act was to be implemented in the manner in which it is, we would have less problems. The problem that we have is abuse of the Public Order Act. It has been abused back and forth, such that the changes that should be proposed to the Public Order Act should be changes that stop the abuse of the Public Order Act. Now, we have situations where no opposition party is holding rallies. Not because they can't, but because police always come up with excuses of manpower. They'll come up with every excuse that they have. But the law says you could go ahead and have it, provided you are able to provide stewards to maintain law and order. But the police think they must always be there. Of course, there will be need for the police to be there. Of course, you may have them there. But if you undertake to say we are going to have these stewards that are going to ensure that everything is orderly. Look at the overnight that was cancelled by the government recently. What threat did an overnight prayer meeting pose to the government or indeed to the public? When people are already gathered, people had already started praying and dispersed them. What was the threat? That is an abuse of the Public Order Act. There was no threat that was there. But we see them trying to implement it. The very next day, Tuamonanok State House at we didn't sanction it. Why was it State House answering an administrative issue? Why is the Office of the President responding to an administrative issue to do with the Public Order Act? That simply shows you that kuri abantu abashakwatamaka to implement the Public Order Act who have a tendency of interfering in the implementation of the Public Order Act. because that response should not have come from State House. That was a police issue. But the reason it was coming from State House, is because they like engaging themselves in matters which have got nothing to do with them. So the moment we have measures that ensure that people stick to their lanes, people understand that governing does not mean that kulwa kapukola nuwebo kapukola, ku parliament nuwebo speaker, ku court nuwebo judge, then we'll have a better government. Then we'll have better people in governance. When we know what our role is, you can't be everywhere at any given time. There are people that are supposed to carry out those roles, and they're supposed to carry out those roles independently. Ichamsevanya Chachitike last week, Umkulu Wabakapokolo was campaigning for President Hakainde Hichilema. Since when did we ever see a police officer, a deputy inspector general of police, campaigning in the manner, being a praise singer, in the manner that our deputy IG was talking? That is an embarrassment to the governance of this country, not only local, but internationally. We expect our kapukola abali professional. But ngamwakwata kapukola kwatu yowe no waleranda filia pali wa president. Then you know that there is no chance that democracy will be exercised in the manner that the Constitution provides that it should be provided for. Inshirawo tu akwata kofye to challenge these actions kuya kukot na kukot nako bali katako. Judges are compromised. Those who are not compromised are afraid. Those who are not afraid are being fired.
Can you just elaborate more on that, Honorable Zulu? That's a sweeping statement.
No. It's not a sweeping statement. It's very specific. We have a judiciary that is timid right now. Timid because Marimona Constitutional Court, there were judges that were fired from the Constitutional Court over a matter that they were cleared previously. You are no longer judges. This government has fired more judges than all the governments combined in this short space of time. Judges or magistrates have been moved from place to place, and there's been interference in the manner that they carry out their work. That is there for everyone to see. Some matters are being delayed deliberately for a very long period of time and not saving the course of justice. To learn that justice delayed is justice denied. And that is what's happening in most cases. Justice is being delayed, if at all it's being given. Bambi amakoti bambi bapangira fi abantu bamu. Tira abakalaya kumakota. No one else goes to those courts. This fight against corruption is only intended to target a particular group of people belonging to a particular section of the society. And it doesn't spread across to those that are corrupt in this current government. Not kwatobu afya. And we have an opportunity to rectify this problem. That opportunity is drawing near. August 2026 is an opportunity to reset our country, to put it back on the rails of development, so that Abantu should be able to benefit from the very fact that they are citizens of Zambia. We can't classify citizens. We can't classify citizens and give preferential treatment to certain citizens. If we do that, that is why you have a lot of people that are disgruntled in the country. That is why we have a lot of people that are bitter. And they can't even express their bitterness because you have shut them up. You don't want to hear negativity. When muntu tawufwa kweba tapana olufyanya na olufyanya nga waisa ule anda nani ule anda tafili bwino mzambia fintu filifia bwino mwikala kwisa mwibale anda the cost of living is very high. It's because all you hear are lies. We have an opportunity to be able to once again speak truth to power, and that opportunity is drawing near. Let's embrace that opportunity and speak truth to power as Zambians, as a people whose birthright we have not sold. We can't sell our birthright. Our birthright, my resources, And these resources should be able to speak for us, that and we are benefiting from our resources. That is what I can say over that issue. We have an opportunity to reset the course of this country.
We close the show. Touch briefly on the energy situation in the and how you intend to resolve that problem before we leave the 15 minutes for you to directly talk to the Copperbelt.
See, the energy situation in Zambia is just bad manners. Why am I saying it's bad manners? It's bad manners because the projects that we had started as PF, Ababa Isapo decided those were not projects that they were going to concentrate on. They decided they are going to give us the Dubai formula. Pantuwa aisa tuweba ku Dubai tairoke mfula because takwa mfula ku Dubai and they have power 24/7. Then now they will bring the Dubai formula. Now if we're with or without the rains, tukala kwata light. When they came, they found us working on the Luswasi hydroelectric power station to provide power to Central and Muchinga provinces. What did they do? They discontinued these projects. We said, okay, each province should be able to have a means of production of power. For 45% of water in the region. Fish to Ngafiri in terms of power. But we did not only look at issues of Ama provinces of Malaiti. We also said, what other sources of energy can we have? We said, okay, let's set up a nuclear plant in Chongwe here in Lusaka to be able to provide power for Lusaka and other areas. We had intended to say we have to power industry. If we don't power our industries, there will be no development in this country. Tuleta shalesa, Wadangote, Barisa esa, Babachita collector Wakateka Vesu, Babachita collector Ama ministers Vesu. Without power, there is nowhere the country is going to go. But if you provide this energy, you don't even need to go and campaign. Because that barber there will be happy because he was able to run his barber shop very well. That welder will be happy because he was able to weld and make money. That person who's running a car shop, a restaurant, will be happy because they were able to use power to run the restaurant instead of using other means that may be much more expensive. Because of this lack of power, we are in a worse off situation now because deforestation is very high number. Because people have to buy this charcoal. And this charcoal is not coming from Mulwerereyo. It's coming from the forest. People are cutting down trees. We are causing damage to our environment because we have failed to respond to the issue of power. We as government in the PF said instead of resorting to this issue, can we limit issues of power to at least 4 hours of load shedding? Let's dock this ship to Mozambique and have power evacuated into Zambia for purposes of running homes and industry. We had 4 hours of load shedding. What did they say? They said 4 hours of load shedding was poor leadership. What do you call 21 hours of load shedding? If 4 hours of load shedding is poor leadership. We said for the Shiwa hydropower upgrade in Mchinga, we said this was going to provide power to Mchinga. Have these people continued this project? No, they haven't. Luapula Power Project, which was to provide power in Luapula and Northern Province. What has happened to this project? They have stopped it. We don't have power in these places. Kabompo Power Plant, we wanted or we're working to generate power from this plant to provide power for Northwestern Province. What has happened? Nothing has happened. The Chongwe Nuclear Power Plant, which I talked about, what has happened to this plant? It has been discontinued. People we trained have been left to roam the streets and others have gone to save other countries. And we train these people at a very high cost. This government has thrown that aside. Katete Wind Power Project, it has been abandoned. All these issues were supposed to be responding to the power needs that we have. Twalikwata uranium muno mu country muno. We can do nuclear power. Twalikwata ko eoba twerepo ba Dangote. Pardon, I'm sure I learned that Dangote wa PF. Because he told them the truth. We can set up thermal power stations and be able to power the whole country 24 hours. Be able to power industry 24 hours. These issues have to be dealt with. And the answer is here. The answer is changing government to a government that is going to implement these strategies. If UPND badi changera, aena mano tubapere pali no radio program, let them do this and show the people of Zambia that we are able to do this. But and it's not even their ideas. They can't even implement these ideas because they are not theirs. They have concentrated on benefiting themselves. But let's change government. We have that honors to save this country. We have this honors as patriots to ensure that governance in this country is corrected, development is brought to the people of Zambia, and the people of Zambia enjoy the resources that God endowed them with. There's no other Zambia. That's the only land we can benefit from.
Your take on Kadarism, a minute, before I ask you a final question.
Honorable Kasautu announced officially that Kadarism is back. The very people don't learn lessons. If over PF, the biggest reason what from Shepo Abantu, Fiaktira, Kadarism. Icham Sevanya Church Tikema So Shapa, but PF acting president were given Lubinda. Was harassed by cadres. He was beaten by cadres. We have people on a daily basis. It was cadres again who are busy victimizing people. Now we are getting to know that it's UPND cadres that are being arrested for that. It has to be brought to a stop. This announcement to say Kadarism is officially back. They can't bring it back because that is what saw PF lose power. Instead of making things better, as they promised to make things better, they have done very little. And now, per Tuesday, there's going to be a press briefing to address this issue. That issue doesn't even require a press briefing. It doesn't require a press briefing. It requires action on the part of the police. But the police itself has been cadarized. So what do we do? The answer lies in us as a people not accepting to be fooled again and concentrating on what will change. And what will change is making sure that there's a change in the governance system, a change to a much more reliable to much more reliable people who ensure that they put up systems that will keep them accountable, not depending on umuntu musumoyu takachitefiyo. We shouldn't depend on good people. We have to depend on strong systems of governance, and those strong systems of governance start with you, the people, exercising your right to vote. Those that have not registered, go and register to vote, so that when you are voting, you'll be voting for a change of systems. You'll be voting for stronger systems. You'll be voting for limiting of power of politicians so that they do not abuse the power that is already given to them. You'll be voting for yourselves to say we need to liberate ourselves to be able to speak once again. You'll be voting yourselves to say we need to be able to express ourselves once again. If you do that, the course of this or the trajectory this country is taking will shift to the right trajectory that will see all of us benefiting, and once more we'll be able to sing our national anthem with pride we'll be able to say, let's stand and sing of Zambia, proud and free. Land of work and joy, in unity, not in regionalism, not in tribalism, not in Akapatulula, no. In unity, we should sing of our country. We should stand to do what is best for our country. Those and many more things are what the Zambian people want. Change is what they desire right now, and change is coming.
My final question to you, Honorable Zulu, and it's going to be loaded. Are you the chosen one? Are you the chosen one? And if yes, why are you the chosen one? And as you're answering this question, bear in mind that civil servants are listening to you, council workers are listening to you, the women and the youth are also listening to you, including the laggards who have not made up any political decision regarding your candidacy.
See, the people that choose, it's you, the Zambian people. And the chosen one will be after the election of 2026. Fiatulanda ati mwidilile mwebene, ofyo bayando asatati osadilila ine, zidilile noka. The same words that Jesus said, don't cry for me, cry for yourselves, is what the message is. We are offering ourselves for service. We are offering ourselves for service to say, when we come in, this is what we intend to do. And you are going to determine the chosen one. You are going to choose who the chosen one is. And that is the essence of democracy. What we are offering to the Zambian people is an option of politics of decency. Not a politics of vengeance ya kutirati uyunga afumapo ale yakuma court every day. We have to put those politics aside. If you are saying that we want a person who will not be vengeful in their governance, then yes, I am the chosen one. If you are saying we want a person who is going to prioritize the development of citizens, then yes, I am the chosen one. If you are saying that we want an agricultural system that is going to respond to the needs of the Zambians, make Zambia food secure again, then I'll tell you that I am the chosen one. If you want us to improve in the energy sector and bring back that energy that runs our industry, that runs that barbershop, that runs that salon, that runs that home, that enables students to study 24 hours or for as long as they want. If you want a leader who will respond and rectify that energy situation, I'll say I am the chosen one. But the question of saying I am is what we need to put aside. We need to do this together. Because it is not one person that is going to answer these questions. It is all of us. And if you agree, then it is no longer an I factor. It is no longer an I situation. Then we are saying we are going to do this together. Because your vote cancels the I and says we, makes it we. You're going to register to vote right now, cancels the I and brings in the we factor. And we're saying we as a people have to arise as a nation and choose the destiny that we want. We are only choosing a person to be in front of this journey to the destiny that God has set for us. And we are not choosing a person who will make everything about themselves like we have right now. We are going to choose a person who is going to take the forefront in leading us to this destination that God has set for us, using the very resources that God has given to us. So the answer to your question is that we, the Zambian people, are the chosen ones. And we, the Zambian people, can change the course of destiny of this country.
Honorable Makebi Zulu, thank you so much for according us this opportunity to talk to you. And we hope to see you live on Mafken FM radio. And we wish you all the best and good luck.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me on Mafken radio station. And thanks to the people of the Copperbelt for listening in, tuning in to this program. We look forward to yet another opportunity where we deal with more of the local issues that will respond to our needs. We deal with issues that will ensure that our future is brighter. Not just our future, that our children will not come and kick us and say, why didn't you do anything about it? They'll say our parents were brave and they did something about the oppression that they suffered. They did something about the economic situation that was going on. They did something about the energy situation. They did something about the agricultural situation. They did something about the health situation. And now we are living in a land of promise that we have endeavored, or that our forefathers have endeavored to lay the foundation for us. And we are only building on those blocks. Thanks for having me, and thanks to all the listeners for tuning in.